important for Puerto Rico in terms of economic development, because for rum that's sold here and consumed in the United States, Puerto Rico receives a percent of the taxes that are paid on that rum here in the U.S. back from the federal government. So for us, it's really an economic development tool. So it's important for us to make sure that we support the Rums for Puerto Rico program. It's important for us to make sure that we provide it with the exposure so that we can help the consumption of rum produced in Puerto Rico, consumed here in the U.S. to grow. It's ultimately to our benefit, and the reason we're doing it here, and the reason that we're doing it under the mantra of Puerto Rico does it better and just think, is because we're unifying the different campaigns that Puerto Rico works on, whether it's the Rums of Puerto Rico campaign, the tourism campaign, the campaign of the Puerto Rico Industrial Development Corporation, or some others, so that we can distill all of the different messages that have traditionally been put out into the essence of what it is that Puerto Rico wants to convey. And in our case, it's Puerto Rico is equal to quality. And how best to say that Puerto Rico is equal to quality than by saying that Puerto Rico does it better. And that is basically the country brand, if you will, that we have adopted and that we will be using, and it'll be a part of all of the different campaigns that we use in Puerto Rico, and it's a central part of the Rums of Puerto Rico campaign. So why do it in Madison Square Garden? Well, Puerto Rico has traditionally, in particular with the Rums of Puerto Rico program, used venues such as this one to be able to reach the audience that we want to reach and to be able to elevate the program and the product to the levels that it requires, which are levels of excellence. And Madison Square Garden is an area of excellence, and obviously we want to be associated with that, and we want to be able to take advantage of reaching the people that come here, which obviously I used to live in New York. I used to come here quite often. I know that there are a lot of Puerto Ricans and non-Puerto Ricans that come here, and we want to be able to reach those masses. So ultimately it's a way for us to be able to connect with the consumer of Puerto Rican rum and be able to convey the message that Puerto Rican rum is excellent, it is quality, it is better than any other rum in the world. In fact, 70% of the rum that's consumed in the United States is Puerto Rican rum, and there's a reason for that. It's because it's rum that is aged by law in Puerto Rico, is rum that's produced in a particular way, and we have to uphold those standards, and we have, and as such we have an incredible product that we want to make sure to elevate to those levels to continue increasing the consumption of the product here in the U.S.
Many people connect Rums of Puerto Rico and they think Bacardi, at least from my experience. And what are the names? I know it's a program. It's different brands. What are the brands are under the Rums of Puerto Rico?
Well, people think Bacardi simply because it's been able to, through the Rums of Puerto Rico brand and the excellent production that it has in Puerto Rico, it's been able to grow and basically become the best-selling spirit in the world. It's the leader as far as Rums of Puerto Rico in terms of production, but you're right, there are a lot of other rum producers in Puerto Rico that have an incredible product. They're not as big, but quality-wise, they're all excellent. One that comes to mind is Don Q, and they have different products. You have Rum Barrilito, and you have a series of others, and ultimately it's the whole family of Rums of Puerto Rico that we're elevating here, because the truth is that although some people may think Bacardi, there are others that are Don Q fans, and others are fans of other types of rums, and we invite the people that want to experience a difference in the rum experience and consumption to try all of the different rums that are part of the Rums of Puerto Rico family, and you'll be surprised that that in comparison to any other spirit in the world and any other type of liquor, Puerto Rico is able to maintain a level of quality that surpasses what other jurisdictions have been able to achieve.
When you go to Puerto Rico, you actually could visit like Cataño, the plant, and in Ponce you could visit. So it's the Bacardi is more than just a drink on the island. It's an important player, right, in the tourism sector.
Absolutely, the Bacardi plant in Cataño is actually the second most visited tourism site in Puerto Rico. It's a wonderful place, and it's part of Puerto Rico's history. In Ponce, you have this Destilería Serrayes. They are the producers of Don Q, and they also receive a fair share of tourism. So ultimately, what you find is that throughout the deep history that Puerto Rico has had with rums in general, with the production, and the acceptance that it's had in the United States and abroad, people associate Puerto Rico in such a way that when they come to the island, they want to see how that rum is produced. They want to see what makes it so special. They want to go visit the place where it's made, and that obviously will ultimately becomes a great tourism destination, and that to us means economic development, so we're thrilled that that's the case.
What's your favorite rum?
I like them all. They're
There's
all
no special mix.
great. Well, there's a lot of special mixes, but they're all great.
They're all great. You don't want to compromise. They're all great. Is there anything else that you want to say here as far as the consumption of Bacardi here in New York, or of the rums of Puerto Rico here in New York, the local, I don't know,
Well, I mean,
clubs and things like that?
we'd like to invite anybody that's not acquainted with the rums of Puerto Rico to try them. They're easily accessible, and you'll be surprised with the versatility that rum can provide. It's a liquor that you can mix very well with many different things. It goes well with food. It's a wonderful party spirit, and it's also the type of spirit that you can consume on its own. The same way that you can consume a nice glass of brandy, you can do the same with nice aged rum, and ultimately it's the type of spirit that the more acquainted you become with, the better you like it. And those that aren't acquainted with rums, and in particular with rums of Puerto Rico, we invite you to try them. You'll be very pleasantly surprised.
What are the what are the challenges of promoting the rums of Puerto Rico? Are there much challenges, or is it already already an established brand that is just more about growth and
Well,
reaching?
it's definitely an established brand, and the challenge is always to grow that brand, and you try to do that as best you can, and the best way, I think, is to put it out there and to make sure that you support it appropriately. And that's why the program Rums of Puerto Rico, which is a part of my department, is something that we don't take for granted, that we make sure to invest what's necessary for it to be able to grow and do its job. And Nicole Rodriguez, who is the head of the Rums of Puerto Rico program, is doing a wonderful job. And at the end of the day, you have a budget, and you have to be able to use it appropriately, and she's done so in order to provide us with this wonderful event, to bring us to Madison Square Garden, and to be able to share all the beauties of Rums of Puerto Rico with all of those that are willing to listen. And we're here to speak the gospel. We believe it, and we want to provide it for others to experience as well.
All right. Is there anything else you want to say?
No, we're thrilled to be here. Come visit Puerto Rico, consume our rums, and hopefully you'll be able to reach the same conclusion that we have, which is that Puerto Rico equals quality, and at the end of the day, Puerto Rico does it better.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And say your name and title again.
Jose Ramon Perez Riera, Secretary of Economic Development and Commerce of Puerto Rico.
All right. Thank you.